Hey guys, it's Tiffany, and you found me on the Wise Skies channel. Wise Skies is a metaphysical counseling company. We offer one-on-one sessions with people, and we also offer a great membership that has classes for students and seekers. So we welcome you to check that out because we're having a membership drive this month where you can get grandfathered in at the price of $22 a month. So check it out. And today I'm going to do Free Tarot Friday. So I'm going to read from the Golden Tarot deck, which is a deck by Cat Black. You can see my deck is very well loved. And we're talking about the eclipse because the eclipse is Sunday night and it's in Scorpio and it looks pretty intense. It's squaring Saturn. So the sun is squaring Saturn, and because it's a solar eclipse, right? Like there's a pretty big square in the sky and some other dynamics that make it a little bit tricky. So if you've been feeling the heat this week, it could be due to the eclipse, could be due to Mercury retrograde, it could be due to Pluto retrograde, could be due to poor choices, right? Like your own poor choices, right? But the idea here is that the astrological weather is a significant influence on our mood. And we're just going to check in with the cards and see what a weekend forecast is for you, along with a little mini eclipse reading for each sign, Aries all the way through Pisces. I'm also going to drop in a link for our an article on Mercury retrograde this season to help you rewire your brain. So if you're into epigenetics, if you're into breath work, I think you'll enjoy this article. All right, let's clear the deck for Aries. So for Aries, your eclipse reading is learning how to share resources, or learning lessons through sharing, or that's the big theme for our Aries. And so what else could we get for our Aries for the weekend ahead? All right. Wow. So the 10 of Wands and the Death card reversed. And so is there something that maybe where you ran out of steam, something that you put a lot of effort into and felt like you just needed to give up? You know what I mean? It's like it could be anything from relationships to work stuff to just your own personal projects and energy. Is there something that you just put a lot of time into and it didn't necessarily pan out, right? And so it's never too late to stop, right? It's also never too late to start something new. But the idea here, it looks like you just ran out of gas in something. And so for this weekend, can you give it a rest? For this weekend, can you let something go that you've just put a lot of effort into that may not necessarily be having a payoff? So we're not doing things to get a payoff, right? But the idea here is like it just feels like you've just put a lot of effort, energy into something that doesn't seem to be going anywhere right now. So can you just kind of back up a little bit and watch life and just enjoy the passage of time, instead of draining yourself further? You can't force divine timing, right? So you might as well just enjoy the ride until it happens. All right, for our Taurus, the eclipse reading for you guys is relationship issues, a relationship drama, relationship trauma, relationship healing. So knowing that relationship is a theme, take a look around. What's it like to be in relationship with you? What's it like to be on the other side of you? Like that Ram Dass quote. Is it Ram Dass, guys? It says, treat everybody like God in drag. Anyways, the idea is that what's it like to be on the other side of you? Like, are you difficult? Are you fun? Are you easy? Do you think you're fun and easy, but actually you're kind of difficult? You know what I mean? It's like just examining some relationship issues. Are there any relationships that have a magnifying glass on them right now, Taurus, that you want to examine a little more? All right. And for your weekend ahead, your eclipse reading, we get a 9 of coins and an ace of coins reverse. So to me, this is about, relationships have to do with Venus, and Venus also relates to money. So I feel like something's a little out of your budget, a little out of your price range. And this is just a message to live right-sized, Okay. So Taurus, relationship stuff, try to get more right-sized with everything, right? Okay, so for our Geminis, the eclipse reading for you guys, the eclipse is really speaking to your health, okay? So your health, your routine affects your health. So if your routine is getting changed a whole lot, that's going to have an effect on your nervous system, right? Your parasympathetic nervous system too. All right, so just paying attention to your health. Your body has been giving you some warnings, some signals, and maybe you've ignored them. This eclipse is going to just reveal them to you, right? It could be your personal health. It could be the health of a loved one that requires your attention. But just, I guess, do the best you can, right? Do yoga, meditate, drink water, hydrate, get enough rest, reset what needs to be reset. And for you guys, we get the King of Swords reversed and the Knight of Swords reversed. All right, so since everything's reversed, maybe nothing's reversed, right? And Geminis, it looks like there's some competing energies that aren't serving you, right? Some thoughts that you're using against yourself, some old rules that you're playing by that aren't working anymore. And if that is true in the area of health, I would highly recommend that you get a human design reading so that you can understand your personal digestion. It's not mainstream, not everybody has to cleanse and fast and run, and you know what I mean? Like, there are different ways that our bodies digest stuff. And so to me, it's like there's some conflicting thoughts, some conflicting advice. Maybe this thing that worked for everybody else isn't working for you, and it's time to get, a third, fourth, fifth opinion. And to me, the best way is human design, but you could find that in anywhere. Like, you could go to a chiropractic office, you could get some acupuncture, change it up, try something different, get a different look at your health, start a different routine until you get some improvement, until you actually get to a place in your experiment where you feel different, where you feel better, right? All right, for our Cancers, this eclipse is affecting your fun, your freedom to play, your ability to just loosen up and have a good time. And so it's like, where have you been too tight gripped? Where do you need to have a little bit more fun? This is the card that fell out, the Ace of Cups, right? So for our Cancers, it's like, where can you fall in love with life again? What do you like to do? This Judgment card reversed to me is still indicative of life after death, but I feel like you've just not had enough time to play, and that eventually is going to make everybody pretty grumpy. So playing, right? Like vacationing, taking a break, just having the room to yourself for 24 hours, like whatever that looks like for you. This Ace of Cups is here to say, refresh your spirit, refresh that inner child, refresh that part of you that isn't getting to have any fun. Okay. All right. So that's your eclipse reading for our Cancers. All right. For Leos, your eclipse reading has to do with your home and family. So something significant changing, perhaps around the place where you live, your nest. Maybe there's people moving in, moving out. Maybe you're upgrading. Maybe you're right sizing. Maybe you're organizing, right? Maybe you're doing a home edit. But the idea is that something around your home is changing. So just keep that in mind and go slow, and nobody will get hurt. What else do we need to know for our Leos? We've got the Chariot. Okay, so something moving forward, and the Ace of Swords reversed, but not everybody's on board. So just be careful when you're moving forward. This is a forward momentum. This is a yes card, a victory, a win, but it looks like not everybody is in agreement, and that can cause just some, ups and downs in the family dynamic, or your housing, or your neighbors, or yourself. The Chariot card reminds us that it requires cooperation and collaboration. The Chariot's not going anywhere with a dictator driver telling everybody what to do. The Chariot's going forward because they've got a good relationship established with the animal friends that are pulling it. Usually horses, in this deck it's swans, but it's always a black one and a white one. And you can look up the symbology if you want to geek out with us on the cards. In fact, if you want to learn to read cards, there's a class, Tarot 101, that's for free that I taught here on YouTube on our channel. So Leos, don't force, don't manipulate, but try to collaborate at home and see where can we co-create something, and maybe communicate your needs, but also really stop and listen to what the other person or people need too. And understand that maybe even if you can't come up with a win-win, can you come up with something that is workable, right, for the time being? Because we are in a crazy retrograde period. Y'all, it's been real retrograde over here for me. I mean, real retrograde, right? So don't be surprised, especially in the area of home, if you look at a new lease and it falls through, or if it's the perfect deal and then the second perfect deal, and you have to decide and you can't decide. It's just very back and forthy this month, right? So just be aware of that. And try to be as clear as possible. Maybe getting some stuff out of your head and onto paper would be helpful. For our Virgos, this eclipse is falling into the realm of your communications, your emails, your phone, your classes that you're taking. But it looks like there's something about the way that you're communicating, the way that you're working with your self-expression, the way that you're trying to talk, that isn't coming across in a way that other people can hear. And so then there's this friction going on and you're like, that's not what I meant. This morning I wrote an email that I thought was very clear, and the person responded and it was not very clear. So sometimes what I think is black and white is totally mud to the other person. And so for you, Virgos, something like that's going on in your house of communications. You could have been living your whole life based on one piece of information that, like, the comma would have made it a different sentence, right? So it's like time to edit and rewire your brain, rewire the way that you communicate and speak, and really rewire your whole experience based on some words. Words are like wands, right? They have a frequency, they have an effect in your DNA and your genetic coding, and it's time to look at that. It could be time to look at that if it feels correct for you. Virgos, what else do we need to hear? Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Cups. Interesting. So some of our Virgos falling in and out of love. Some of our Virgos letting the Wheel of Fortune fall in their favor. Really, this is about inaction and just letting things come to you, right? The Wheel of Fortune a lot of times is about having to take a chance. And so there could be something that comes to you that really pushes you out of your comfort zone. And I say, go for it. Go on the blind date. Reconnect with somebody that you had a special attraction to. Put something new in your love life, right? Like, this is about connection. And so the whole month of June is also about connection. So you could be getting a sneak peek or a glimpse of hope, right? You know what I mean? There could be like a glimpse of something in the future in June that you're going to get to see coming up this weekend. And so if you're, what's the right word? If you're paying attention, I think that you're going to get some cool little hints from the universe. Take a chance, get out of your comfort zone, let things come to you, and rewire your experience based on words, the way you think, the way you speak, the ideas that you have, right? They don't have to be the same, they can change. For Libras, so just clearing the deck for Libras, your eclipse reading has to do with money and finances. And so this could be really good, it could be really challenging, but the topic seems to be money and finances. So whether you have made a huge purchase, or whether you're about to make a huge purchase, or whether you are being incredibly generous, and you know what I mean? Like, there's something significant going on with money for you. Could be that something huge was taken away. All right. Let's look and see what else our Libras need to hear for the weekend ahead. Okay. Ace of Swords reversed and Ace of Cups upright. All right, so kind of similar reading as earlier. It just feels like you need something to fill your cup, but not everybody's in agreement with that. So it's really hard when you're having to kind of set some boundaries around, like, I just need some alone time, or I just need some connection time. Whatever it is that you need to fill that cup, feels like you're being met with some conflict. It feels like, you know, the weight of responsibility, the weight of duty, the weight of argument, you know what I mean? It could be your own internal argument that's going on, but I just feel like you're going to be met with some resistance. So, you know, just be prepared for that, and try to stick up for yourself, you know, and try to not feel guilty about it. And, you know, try to make the most of it. Have an honest assessment of your finances will probably be a good form of self-care. That's another thing you could do this weekend. Nobody really wants to do that, right? Until they're forced to, until it's like tax season. But it might really help. It might help you see, like, oh, there is enough money in the bank, or, oh, I need to get to work. I need to do some income producing activities, or whatever. It just seems to be like there's something going on with the eclipse and your finances that's having effect on you. And maybe it's time to spend more money on yourself. It doesn't all have to be like bad, right? But those are the themes for you to work with, Libra. All right, for Scorpio, this eclipse uh, is in Scorpio. So you can look at first house themes of ego, right? This could be a dark night of the soul. This could be, isn't everybody excited about that? Like if I say it real nice, you're going to like it. Um, it could be death of the self. It could be a rebirth experience. But the idea here is that there's a part of you that is just dying, that's not there anymore. And for a lot of Scorpios, that's okay. There's a regeneration, right? Like there's regenerative tissue coming up. There's a new breath behind the old one. So just keep breathing and see what needs to be regenerated. Also for our Scorpios, we get a Knight of Coins and a Nine of Wands reversed. And so to me, the Nine of Wands reversed, similar to the Ten of Wands reversed, it's like, you've put a lot of energy into something and it just feels like it's more draining. And so there might be something that you need to step away from even temporarily to regain some of your own energy. The Nine of Wands upright, this is like, wow, he's taking on a lot, he's feeling the weight of the world, there's not much help, right? You know what I mean? It just feels very lonely and agitated and resentful when there's a lot of work and not many hands. So many hands make light work, and this person, this Nine of Wands, doesn't have it. So it's when it's reversed like this, to me it's like, wow, that extra drain. And so look for the tide that lifts all boats, look for the helpers. Look for places to rest and to not overcommit. And if you have overcommitted, look for kind opportunities to say, I've made a mistake, I've overcommitted, I need to back up. You know, I'm just not in a place where I can do much right now. The Knight of Coins coming in back here, this is also a message of money, but this is like a young person that's out on the responsible path. And so if you need to connect back into a version of you that's trustworthy, that's patient, right? That's another double, I guess, a second meaning for this reading. So just remind yourself, I'm trustworthy, I'm patient, I can be conservative, I can also right size my energy, right? So Scorpios, you know, normal Scorpio stuff, death of the ego, right size yourself, don't overdo it, right? Okay, Sagittarius. So for our Sagittarius friends, this eclipse in Scorpio falls in the realm of the subconscious mind. So your eclipse reading has to do with subconscious patterns, things that you might not be aware of. And so if, you know, the best advice I have is going to be just to look at your outside world. The external events are going to show you what is going on in the internal world. And so to always come back to yourself for self-reflective consciousness, right? To look inside, to find those subconscious patterns that are creating your life, right? That you're living by. Very similar to the Virgo reading. I think you guys might enjoy the exercise in the Mercury retrograde article too, but it is about using breath work to change your field, to change your frequency. There's also Kegels and heart-centered breathing in there too. So always a fun topic, right? All right, so for our Sagittarius, working with the subconscious mind, working in dream states, understanding core causes and conditions of behavior or your life circumstances, those are the themes. Deep stuff, deep stuff. Also for Sag, we've got a Six of Coins and a Nine of Coins reversed here. All right, so this could be like rags to riches. This could be riches to rags. It looks like two very different archetypes are working with you energetically in the realm of money. So so maybe there's some subconscious money stuff going on, value, self-worth stuff. Are you looking for worth out there instead of in here? This is somebody that has been very gracious with you, or somebody that you have given a loan to. This is an imbalance in money in some way. And so it could be that there's some financial amends going on. It could be that you're being so generous with your time, but it's just not paying off, right? And so there could be a reassessment for you available. So what subconscious patterns are playing into not making enough money or not being valued for the things that you're really good at? This is powerful stuff. If you want to dig in and work together, of course, we would love to help you during a one-on-one session or through some of the things that we offer through our membership. Okay, for Capricorns, your eclipse reading has to do with your networks, your groups, your friends. So what's changing? Capricorn with your groups. Like maybe you were going to one yoga studio for 20 years and you're changing it up and it feels really crazy. You know, maybe you were, maybe it has to do with your job. Maybe it has to do with your family, but the groups you hang out with are changing. And that's very, much the same as it is in the United States Pluto return. The class lines are being redefined. And who you hang out with is morphing. And so some of you Capricorns out there, all of you Capricorns watching this, are on the path of soul growth, right? So there are going to be some people that fall away and it starts to feel a little bit lonely. But where has your network betrayed you? Where can you self-heal? Where can you stand up and be a leader in your network, right? If you go to a meeting and the meeting sucks, you got to bring it. You got to bring the meeting. You got to bring the good news. You got to bring the gold nugget, right? And so you might be called in that direction. But just looking at that during this eclipse for you. And what else do our Capricorns need to know? Yikes, a Seven of Swords and a Queen of Wands. So Seven of Swords we hate because it usually indicates a thief or deceit or somebody that's kind of getting away with something, right? So I would just take a look at that. Do you feel like somebody's getting away with something in your networks, in your groups? The Queen of Wands reversed, this is somebody who's quite confident and capable of getting away with it too, right? This could just be like you want to watch something juicy, like you want to watch Inventing Anna this weekend with your friends. It could be simple like that, but it could be very real in your life too. So taking an honest look at the kind of people that you're hanging out with. Like another example of this in my personal life is I had a pretty bad job with, I'm not going to say who, but man, when I found out what they were doing, it was basically highway robbery. It was so bad and I couldn't be part of it anymore, right? And so it could be something like that. It could be like, wow, something huge is revealed that you're like, I didn't know that was going on behind the scenes and this just isn't for me anymore. So Capricorn is heavy stuff. Keep that in mind. Eclipses feel like you're living 100 hours in 24 hours. You know what I mean? So it can feel like a lot. So just go slow. Aquarius. For our Aquarius, the eclipse reading has to do with your work, your career, your public appearance, how people see you. For a long time, people saw me as a cookbook author. A lot of people see me as a cookbook author. A lot of people see me as an event planner. I did a lot of large event planning. I still do large event planning. Some people see me as a psychic medium that only works on missing persons cases, right? Some people see me as a card reader and astrologer. There are different faces in the public realm of my career, and there have been over time. They're all under the umbrella of Tiffany, right? But for you, Aquarius, like your work face is changing. And so at the time that I was a cookbook author, I mean, I probably wouldn't have identified as somebody who works with law enforcement on missing persons cases, right? But I do now, and I had to get there somehow. So the idea is that there's something new or changing or shocking or revealing going on with your work. So what does that look like for you? All right, Aquarius, what else do you guys need to know? You get a Hierophant reverse and a Judgment card. So maybe like I would say, is there somebody that you're dating that might not be a good match right now? I would never tell you to break up. I'm just saying, do you feel like, is there some kind of inequality, imbalance going on with the thing that you're most devoted to? Could be that person that you're dating, could be, I don't know. It just looks like there's a moment for you where you're either judging yourself based on past relationships or based on family relationships. That is kind of a day of reckoning or a moment of reckoning or an awareness for you to be like, oh, wow, I'm repeating the same patterns. And I want to disrupt that. And I want to disrupt that intentionally with this Mercury retrograde cycle on this eclipse. And there could be some nepotism. There could be something going on at work where somebody's getting some favor for an unfair reason. You know what I mean? Just go to yoga and meditate. That's going to be my go-to. Good. That's your eclipse reading. Everybody go to yoga and meditate this weekend. All right. Pisces, thanks for your patience. All right, Pisces, your eclipse reading is about travel. Your eclipse reading is about getting overseas in your mind, going on an adventure. Could be a simple day trip, could be learning a foreign language, could be watching a foreign film. The idea here is our Pisces need to explore. You need to explore something new, explore a new paradigm, get out of your comfort zone, go somewhere either in your mind or physically. Okay, I just flipped over half the deck awkwardly. The Three of Swords fell out. Nobody wants to get that one. All right. Geez. All right. So Pisces, for the worst reading of the day, I'm going to draw some more cards. I'm not going to leave you hanging with the broken heart card and the poverty card, you know. But what's up with that, Pisces? Is there something going on financially? Are you feeling a little tight financially? Have you gone through a breakup? Are you working through a breakup? Is there something that's heartbreaking that's also costing you a lot of money? You know, is there something about your physical heart or somebody's physical heart in your close circle or family? Is there somebody that's being not as generous as you would be, you know, and it's heartbreaking? These are the issues. Sorry, but they're very real for some of you guys. And then you get the Eight of Cups, which is about walking away, not looking back, going on a new adventure. So I feel like you've just got to overcome something, like you've got to tap into the most radical realm of forgiveness possible when it comes to your precious heart. Maybe it's like an inheritance you didn't get. Maybe it's a job you didn't get. Maybe it's there seems like a big heartbreak and loss, and that you are choosing your own path and that you're choosing to go forward anyways. Okay. So tough reading. Can we give them anything else to focus on? I'm just going to keep drawing some cards until I get a positive one. I mean, honestly, it's like, just keep going, Pisces. Just keep going. It's going to get better. This is a tough season. And of course you want to travel. Of course you want to get out of some situation like this. So some of the most intense therapy you can give is yourself some alone time, an hour with God, a meditation, breathing in and out and not doing anything, fixing anything, forcing anything, and just waiting on divine timing. So, all right, party people, let's get a look. If you didn't like your sun sign reading, go back and listen to your moon sign reading or listen to your rising sign reading and see if you can get another layer of information. The eclipse readings are tough, and we are in a retrograde period where things aren't what they seem and things can change very, very quickly. So just keep your eyes open. What's a universal card we can all be working with this eclipse weekend? The Hermit. What? No, I have lots of things to do. The Hermit, one of my favorite cards, because I like, you know, that alone time that you have with God, that alone time that you have with nature. So make sure, if you have a busy weekend, to carve out a little bit of time just for you, just for yourself. You can scream in the car. You can read under a tree. You can do something just for yourself. This card also, he always has that light, so it's like you sometimes it's about shining light in a dark place, but also it's about you got to go into the darkness and you can't really see the whole path in front of you. You can just see what the light will show you, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. Like I'm doing this right now. Like I'm taking the next step. It doesn't make sense. It leads me to the next step, and this first step fades away, and it was never even there. And then I do take the next step, and the second step fades away, and it was never even there. And I'm like, what? What am I doing? Where am I going? So following spirit, you know, trusting that this hermit, the lamp, gives you enough to see the next step, you know, and rest assured that you're going to be shown the way. So guys, intense energies this weekend. My heart is with each of you. I'll put the May forecast, the June forecast in the links below. I really appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel, maybe like the video, maybe share with some friends. We would love to have you in the membership. It's $22 a month. That changes on June 1st. So if you want to get grandfathered in at the lowest possible price, our membership is for both seekers and students. Our seekers, get 25% off all readings. They get 50% off of our digital calendar. They get a monthly Akashic record reading for the group. And I go through all the signs and do my Astro Tarot thing with 3 or 4 decks, depending on which decks I want to work with. So you get these types of tarot readings at a more in-depth level for the month. And then also for our seekers, we have a monthly human design call, the first Thursdays at noon Central. And we have a master teacher come and teach a class. So in May, I just taught yesterday a Pluto retrograde class, and so that is available as a replay in your membership portal. We would love to have you in our community. It's a very supportive place to continue to learn about all of the ways that we can connect the cosmic dots using astrology, tarot, human design, our own psychic development. And that's it, guys. Thanks for being here and hanging out. We're at wiseskiescollective.com. I hope you have a great weekend, and just go slow, keep breathing, and namaste.